Hello, everybody. Welcome back to youtube.com/geekloud. It's Monday night. It's 8 p.m.-ish. We're here tonight. It's me, Troy, with Steve, Unky Dunky himself. Steve, how are you, my friend?
Mate, I'm very good. I'm ready to talk video games. Let's do it.
Video games? That sounds like us. We will, of course, run through the games we've been playing lately. And then we've got the standoff, of course. Who is it this week? Stick around. You'll find out. Then we'll go through the news. And then, of course, audience integration. Feel free to stack up those questions and comments in the YouTube chat, and we will get to them all at the end, unless Steve pulls a ripper out midway through. With that being said, let's start it off this evening. Whoop, I didn't check this transition. Is that going to work? Yes, it is. Halo Combat Evolved. Well, the multiplayer. Anyway, Steve, it dropped sort of stealthy out of nowhere, kind of almost Microsoft pulled it off.
They did. I'm going to pull you. I mean, you did call it Combat Evolved. It is Halo Infinite, but I like where you're going with it. We're going back in time. But no, mate.
Collection?
we did have the news that we may get this to drop early on our last show. It definitely did drop the next morning, and I was bloody excited to wake up and see all the news saying Halo multiplayer available now. I was going to have a sleep in that day, but instead decided to quickly get up and hit install straight away.
And how long did that take you, mate?
Nowhere near as quick as your install. I'm guessing. What was yours? 20 minutes or something, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah, I don't even know now off the top of my head. 23 minutes.
I think I saw around 22 minutes. I was like, oh, God, bloody Troy and his fast internet. I reckon it took me maybe 3 hours, so it wasn't too bad.
And is that coincidentally the same amount of time it takes you to level up in their battle pass?
Yes, I was definitely going to get to that. This battle pass is the only sour note in an otherwise absolute perfect multiplayer experience as far as I'm concerned.
It's brilliant. And honestly, I understand the complaints about the battle pass, but personally playing it yet, I haven't felt the lack of incentive by me personally yet. But I can see totally that you would get there.
Absolutely. Especially like I find it at the moment, I feel like there needs to be a bit more reward for having good games. There's games where I've had like 25 kills, 10 deaths, 2 capture the flags, and I get the same amount of points as someone that's died 10 times, got 1 kill, or even lost the game just because they did upgrade the battle pass now where you can get experience for winning or just for playing games, which is 50 XP out of 1,000, but that's not enough as far as I'm concerned.
Is that for every game, or is that only once every day? Like the first.
No, it's for every game you play, you get 50 XP. So at least there's some. So there is some kind of progression, but there needs to be more. There needs to be like they give you these accolades at the end of a match, like kill 5 players with an assault rifle, kill a player quickly, like with your pistol after getting it out. But they don't actually give you anything extra for that.
Yes.
You get experience, you get points for the match, but that doesn't go towards your battle pass, which I think they need to change. But
so what you're saying is it's very showy up front, but then they're lacking a little bit of substance, possibly.
The substance is there. The gameplay has plenty of substance. I think that's there, but I just think there needs to be a bit more reward for good gameplay. I like I like they're trying to reward everyone, and there is these things you can go after if you want to. Like it'll give you a task for a week for a daily, so it gives you something to go for. But that is also to the detriment of the game. Like you might have a guy that needs to get 5 shotgun kills, so all he's doing for the match is trying to get these shotgun kills instead of trying to help you capture the flag or hold the ball for a period of time. So it's detriment to your actual team play if you're not playing as a part of a team using microphones and headsets and speaking to each other.
Yes.
So I think they just need to fix that and give people other options of upgrading that battle pass. But I mean that's the negatives. That's the negatives out of the way. The game itself,
before you move on, can I just ask one?
Yeah.
Just put a pin in that you noted voice chat on launch day. We'll come back to that later. Keep going.
Yep, no worries. But other than that, mate, this is the most fun I've had playing a multiplayer shooter in years. Absolutely, without a doubt.
It is a lot of fun. And is there a particular mode, mate, that's speaking to you, or is it all just
It's all kind of great. There's a couple that I don't really like. There's a few. I don't know if you've had the ones where you've got to pick up the little circuit board things and bring them back. They're usually in the bigger maps.
No, the circuit board thing. I've done a glowing tennis
ball. Yeah, there's a stockpile one. I think you got to gather and deliver objectives to bases, whole bunch of different ones.
I think I've played around.
Yeah, I've only played it a couple of times, but it wasn't great, and it was sort of no one sort of really knew what they were doing. But apart from that, I do like Team Slayer. I've been enjoying Oddball. I'm a bit annoyed because I seem to be the only one that ever seems to try and carry the damn thing, which is good because I mean I get all the points for the game, but again that doesn't mean anything if I'm not leveling my battle pass with it. But
how do you play Oddball, man? Is the best defense a good offense? Are you sort of running at people and trying to punch them, or are you running and hiding and sort of trying to get away?
So I think so I'll try and grab the ball, but then I'll try and get the ball back towards my teammates so the teammates can defend me.
I see.
Which I get frustrated when teammates just running around trying to get kills, and that's all they try and do. It's like they're going to understand the game mode is to try and score with the ball, and if you don't have the ball, you're not scoring. So you have games where these players are racking up tons of kills, and you're losing the game, and it's frustrating because I'll have ball held for like a minute 30, and then my teammates have held it for maybe 1 second, if that.
Yeah. It's an interesting problem, and it's cropping up in a few games, I reckon. We won't go into it because we're going to touch on a couple of them later, but they're just multiplayer game modes online. There does seem to be just general confusion, I would say, in the last year creeping in. There's a lot of lack of team cohesion, I reckon.
Oh, I think so too. And I think it'll be better once sort of people get their grip on it, and it's sort of the game finally releases. We are still in beta, as they call it now, because we don't have all the maps as far as I know. We possibly have all the game modes, but you can't select what game mode you want to play. So you can't actually, if you want to just play Slayer, you can't do that at the moment. So you're at the beck and call of 343 and what you do when you hit quick play or you pick big team battle. But I know I've sounded like I'm negative on this game, but this is as I've said before, this is the best multiplayer experience I've had. The game runs flawlessly. You get into games quickly. There's no glitches. Just being back in this Halo world, they'd sort of gone back to the roots of Halo, 2 and 3 multiplayer, and I couldn't be happier with it. How many games have you played?
12. I believe I've played 12 games all up. A lot of fun. The big team battles are where it's at for me, but really I'm still in love with Battlefield, so I haven't been into it as much. My online gaming has been in Battlefield, but as I said, I've played about 12 games, and I completely agree with what you're saying, mate. It looks flawlessly, it runs flawlessly, servers have been rock solid, a really good experience. I'm having a lot of fun with it, especially at the price. To get in there at $0, the surprise drop.
Crazy that this thing's free and is going to remain that way. Like maybe that's why the Battle Pass is the way it is at the moment. But I mean, this game's only going to get better and better and better.
It's phenomenal. I'm absolutely loving my time with it, but I'm still Battlefield is where I'm at the minute. I will certainly come back and invest hours into the Halo Infinite multiplayer, but for me, it's going to be probably February, I think, are we due for a big release in February, Steve? Multiplayer campaign?
Multiplayer, I'm not sure. I know there's a lot of stuff coming out in February.
I've got a feeling it was all the single player stuff like Saints Row and
Elden Ring and all that kind of stuff.
I think it was all single player stuff that got pushed. Anyway, we'll get back to that. But I've been loving my time with Halo, albeit a little bit small. Steve, the one thing I've noticed that I am missing, though, is some of that dual sense. I want some trigger action. It's the one.
Yeah, it would be nice. Yes, that's true. It'd be nice to sort of have this. It's never going to obviously see the light of day, but unless Microsoft decides, they have talked about. I know they have talked about it.
They did the survey.
They did, and I think Big Phil's probably looking at that and thinking that's probably something they can do. Whether it's an Elite Series controller or whether they make it standard in their controllers, we'll have to wait and see.
The Elite Series 3, I think, would be nice.
Oh, it would be. Now, you're saying you love these big team battles. Is that probably because you are in Battlefield mode at the moment?
Exactly. That's exactly right. I am in Battlefield mode. So I think we're done with Halo, are we, my friend? Any other points?
Yeah, other than just giving it at the moment for me 10 out of 10 before the campaigns even released, I'm in love with this game. So as I've said, this could potentially take out my game of the year if they stick the landing.
And this beta multiplayer has launched in better state than a lot of AAA's single campaigns have launched this year. They've done the impossible, I think.
They absolutely have. Well, they did have an extra year for it, so you'd like to think it's in some good shape.
You would. Oh, speaking of some years, I think 13 years under its belt, Max Payne 3, 2 and 1, also now available now, but Max Payne 3, Steve, backwards compatible, Xbox Series X. Have you had a look at it yourself, sir?
Okay, I almost cried with excitement because I've still got my old Xbox 360 copy of the game. I've got no means of playing that, but for some reason I kept that game just in case. Just in case. But I think I was actually watching, I think it was one of your install videos or something. I saw you mention it on the morning of the Halo Infinite release. And I saw you mentioned Max Payne. I'm like, no, what? And I had to quickly check my phone, check this like backwards compatibility, and I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. This is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yes, and my big question, do you think, I've read a fair bit online, people upset about the multiplayer servers not being online. Any chance, do you think Rockstar will flick some servers online for it?
Oh, I don't know. Rockstar does need to get some kind of
goodwill,
goodwill back after the GTA Trilogy debacle at the moment. But
yeah.
I don't think we will see that. What I would hope to see and like to see, though, more so than the multiplayer stuff, is one of those Xbox 4K and FPS boost
for
this game. Because as much as I love this game, it's still hard. It's annoying to play something in 30 frames per second. As stylistic as this is and as good as the gunplay is, just thinking I could play this in 60 frames per second with a 4K update, that would blow my mind. Like that for me, this probably would get my game of the year if they did that.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Great trip down memory lane. I enjoyed it. I only went hands-on with it for this video. I've only sort of touched it for 20 minutes, but what a joy. And once again, it highlights how far the gaming industry has moved away from these enthralling single-player campaigns. Like, this game holds up from a single-player narrative point of view in a way that I couldn't tell you a game in the last sort of 3-4 years that's come out as well developed from a character standpoint, like a real character piece. There hasn't been one, I don't feel, in years.
I can't think of anything as good as this. I can't think of a game where the third person, like actual shooting mechanic and gameplay is as good as this.
Yeah, rock solid.
The fact that you can still play this game in 30 frames, most games in 30 frames per second feel really hard to play, but this thing still plays really well. The slow down mechanics, the diving, the reloading, the way Max sort of moves and he holds his guns in his hands, the ragdoll physics of the enemies when you shoot him in the blood, it's just, and the places they actually put you to shoot these enemies are all interesting.
Yes, the environments are spectacular in this. It's such a good game. If you never got into Max Payne 3, it's definitely worth playing. I assume you can buy it digitally. I already owned a copy, so I was just able to install it for free.
You can buy it. I did buy it digitally, even though I do own it. So I think it was $29.95. I didn't hesitate.
It's such a good game
to put it on my console. So if I can just add this 4K, it's going to be the perfect game for me. It's never going to go off my console. I'll play this game again, and I'll probably try and even 1,000 achievement this game if I can.
Well, it's all those multiplayer ones, man. Do you already have the multiplayer achievements? Because that might be the Achilles heel in your plan.
You're right. And actually, sorry, talking about the 4K 60 as well, I did go back and install a Max Payne 2 as well, which does have the 4K 60 frame update.
Does it? I didn't know that. That will be installed on the channel shortly.
Yeah, so that plays really smoothly. So going back and playing that is also very fun, and just the fact they've done that to that game, and I think they've done it to Red Dead, the initial one, I think runs at 60 frames with the 4K update as well.
Yes, they did.
So I'm hoping somewhere Microsoft's talking to Rockstar, going, we've seen obviously views on Geek Aloud with just the install for Max Payne and people's love for it. You would like to think that's happening everywhere, and they're getting the feedback, and hopefully we don't have to wait too long for it.
I'm reading a lot of, everywhere I look online, anyway, all the gaming websites I frequent, people are losing their mind over the Max Payne 3 reveal. So great move, Rockstar and Microsoft. The other good move by Microsoft this week, we can now stream games onto our consoles that aren't installed.
What? The future is now.
It is now. What's the official name? Is it Xbox Cloud Gaming on console, I believe?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Xbox Cloud Gaming on console. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's what it's officially returned. Essentially, what you're doing is just playing it remotely, essentially on their Xboxes. Do we know
that's
Xbox
right.
Series X's?
They've moved to Xbox Series X blades now, so we're playing through those. So I did actually go into it and have checked out a couple of games. I checked out Control, I checked out Need for Speed, Heat, which I've never played before, and I checked out one other game.
That's such a good one. I thought with your profession, Steve, you would have been all about that one.
Yeah, I know. I've never actually played it, but I don't know. It's probably, I think someone like you's got ridiculously good internet. I think it's probably actually a viable thing. If, say, you've got a game like Avengers, which takes up 100 gig on your console, to be able to just jump in and play that on the cloud is phenomenal.
Every Call of Duty release ever.
Yeah, that's right. So I'd love it if something like that was on there. At the moment, the performance-wise, playing Control, I think it was running around. It looked like 30 frames per second, maybe a little bit higher.
Whereas obviously, Ultimate Edition, or was this like the Control Xbox One release?
No, it was the Ultimate Edition, I believe. So it loaded up my save file from my Xbox game, so that was cool. How it just straight from the cloud, but it's definitely running subpar compared to your 60 frames per second 4K that you get natively off the console. But I think it's going to be a very good option for some people that A, can't afford to buy a game, or B, just don't have that hard drive space. And it'd be good if you've just got a smaller game that you just want to check out, you don't want to pay for, you just chuck on the cloud.
That's the big one, man. Like if they could imagine if the Call of Duty free weekends, they could just flick them on at will, Call of Duty's free this afternoon for 2 hours, that sort of stuff. Just flick it on. If it's installed in the cloud, they could just do those sort of marketing initiatives spontaneously. It would free them up to make a lot of moves. It could be really cool. It depends where they go with it, man. But to your point, sort of with the faster internet that I've got, it's sort of less important to me. Like it's less appealing because I've got fast internet. It's people
because you can install something quickly.
Exactly, because I can install it quickly. People who would struggle to install stuff benefit the most, but they're the ones that get the least from it. It's bizarre.
Yeah, true. But no, it's only obviously it's in its infancy. It's sort of in beta stage at the moment. So to see where this could probably be potentially in the future, the fact that you can sort of already play streaming on tablets with the cloud and stuff, I think now just to sort of be at home and just be able to sort of load up any game you want. And we've already got Game Pass. A lot of these games are free, through Game Pass anyway. But just to be able to sort of even load up, the loading was actually quite quick as well. I thought we might lose a little bit with load times, but I didn't seem to have too much trouble with loading it all straight through the cloud. So they seem to have that sort of already down. So definitely exciting for the future and what Xbox is doing here.
Here's one question that came up during the week. Max Payne, but Xbox Cloud related. Riddle me this. If I turn on my Xbox 360 and play Max Payne 3 there, I've got a cloud save that I can download and continue. The exact same account, obviously, Xbox Series X playing Max Payne 3, it can't see the same cloud save for the Xbox 360 game. So they must be different versions of the game is the only thing I can think of.
They must be.
Is the digital version the American release and, where the, European release, so the save files incompatible? That's my guess, but I have no idea. But there's
I have no idea.
In the armor is my point.
There is. I would have loved to actually load that. There was Xbox Live Games with Gold. I just installed Lego Batman 2.
Yeah, my son's stoked about that one coming to the party.
Which I've 100% and got every character in that game, and I was just hoping my save would somehow transfer over so I could just play as Superman again. But no, it's I'm back at scratch, back at the start. So I'm like, we'll see if the little fella wants to play, but we'll see how we go.
I know my son started tonight, and he is pumped for it. But what I've been pumped for is Battlefield. I was going to call it Battlefield 4. My mind is somewhere else this evening. Battlefield 42. In fact,
but Halo Combat Evolved and
my mind's 15 years behind reality. Working beautifully, but this is where I've spent the most of my week in Battlefield 2042, and I've picked it up. You should note that this is coming off. I believe this one was off the PlayStation, but I picked it up on PlayStation 5 last week when we talked about it. I'd only seen it on the Series X. But picked it up, installed it, playing the PlayStation 5 version, and I've got to say it loads quicker and it looks better.
Oh, wow, really?
It's subtle, but it's definitely there, man. It definitely looks and feels and plays as though the PlayStation was the development platform and then it was ported to Xbox when the work was done.
Oh, wow. So have you now paid for this, have you?
Yeah, that's right. I did some trade-ins and got the PlayStation 5. I had a request from someone on the channel. Let's see Battlefield. Battlefield 5. It's not. It's Battlefield 2042. Someone asked to see that on the PlayStation 5. Of course, I had to oblige. But the good thing I'll note, Steve, is that my progress was, what do they call it? Cross progression.
Oh, is it?
I was already level 15 or something on Xbox, so I booted up on PlayStation. I picked up from there. It was great. Popped the trophies
beautiful.
and everything.
Very good. Now, I actually decided to install this. I haven't told you this. I did install it and jumped into the trial today.
And your thoughts?
And my thoughts were very it was actually running much better than I gave it credit for, because I'd heard sort of really bad things about how it was running, but it actually ran very smoothly. I jumped into I think they put you in initial practice conquest mode at the start. But I wanted to sort of play against real people, so I quit out of that after sort of getting my sort of hands on the mechanics and stuff like that, and then jumped into matches. And I don't know. I don't know whether I've been spoiled by Halo and getting into matches as quick as I have, but it was taking me a long time to get into an actual one of the newer modes. So I jumped into the Portal mode, which has all these sort of older Battlefield modes, and I was doing one of the Bad Company 2 maps.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a bit more fun in that, but for me, I was just like, it's so hard for me now to invest in another multiplayer game when I'm so invested in Halo. So, but no, from all accounts, it was real fun, smooth. Like kill. It's obviously got a much faster rate of killing someone in this than Halo. So that was satisfying to hit a headshot and have someone go down straight away. But the same thing can be said for myself, getting shot in the head and going down straight away as well. So,
especially if they're spawn camping, that's the worst.
No, I know. So where are you at with it now? Well, where are you putting this game in terms of its multiplayer compared to previous Battlefields or, even Call of Duty?
So I love it. It's the best it's played, I think, on the 5. But the real criticism, the only problem with this game is that they've got all the progression. They actually have the inverse of Halo Infinite's problem, Steve. They have all this detailed multiple level of what is going on here. Sorry, Steve, my phone's blowing up and Google's talking to me.
Oh no.
What's going on? Sorry, everyone. So Battlefield has this multi-tiered progression. It's got the classes. You earn XP for everything. XP is meaningful. You do something cool with the weapon, you unlock, something for that weapon. All the rest of it, it's mapped in there and it's all there beautiful, but it's hidden. They don't present it to you clearly on the front end. You've got to go digging to look to see the progression, but it is there.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas Halo doesn't have it anywhere. It shows it up front. It looks like you're doing a lot in Halo, but when you actually try to dig into a menu and look for that progression, it's not represented there in the game. And Battlefield's the exact opposite. They've got awesome progression and it's just hidden. It's only because I've been playing Battlefield for so many years, I know what their progression structure looks like. So I know where to go and find it. It's there, but it's so hidden. They just need to overhaul the UI and they've got a real great game on their hands. But I can see that this game is not going to pull in any new players. If you're a seasoned Battlefield fan, I think you're going to enjoy this game, but I don't see them being able to pull in new players against something like a Halo Infinite that is so showy up the front, even though when you invest, when you look into Halo, maybe it's not as deep as they make it look.
Yeah.
But it's there.
Now, you mentioned earlier, you said something you were talking about Halo, about how, the teamwork aspect of, some of these games and multiplayers going to shit. Is that what you've noticed in Battlefield as well? It's very hard to play because everyone sort of just seems to be getting the kills, or what was the go?
No, so they didn't have voice chat working in Battlefield when it launched.
Oh, wow.
So for a game that entirely hinges on teamwork, there's no way for the team to talk to each other. So absolute swing and a miss on that one. They definitely should have delayed the game until voice chat was working. That is
I think it could have done with a little delay, especially when they've managed to release smack bang in the middle of Call of Duty and now Halo as well, which is released early, probably to their detriment as well.
Well, I think Halo did it deliberately.
Yeah, they probably did.
It's a nice kill shot. I think it'll be, as history will tell that as a kill shot, I think, as we got some separation from it. But the other cool thing I was playing this week, because I couldn't get enough online multiplayer action, was Chivalry 2, Steve. It only came out the middle of this year, June or July. I'm not sure which now. It's only been out for a few months. Have you played it at all, mate? Have you gone hands-on?
I haven't gone hands on. That's the big battle sort of medieval multiplayer
Exactly. This is
swords and shields game. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's all it's brutal sword fight. So it's pretty amazing going from, modern sort of conflicts, guns, and then to fire this up and have to run all the way to every opponent to swing the sword. It's a good change of pace. But once again, it's the team cohesion isn't there. It does have the same problem we were saying with Halo, like people not playing the objectives. The same thing is true with Battlefield, because Battlefield doesn't have a good front end to explain to new players what the actual objectives are. And the same is true of Chivalry too. It's not apparent all the time as to what the objective is. So those sort of frustrations you're talking, I think they're a bit across the industry at the minute. But a phenomenal game, mate. If you're into sword fighting, this is hands down the best sword fighting game I've ever played.
Is it anything like For Honor? Did you ever play For Honor?
Yes, I did play a bit for
Ubisoft
Honor.
one, yeah.
I found For Honor to be a bit cumbersome, a bit too hard to control, whereas the controls in Chivalry 2, to me, made a lot more sense. Like it was more, I'd almost say arcadey or something. I don't know what the correct terminology. It felt more natural in Chivalry 2, whereas it felt incredibly clunky, in the other one.
Okay. Gotcha. Now, is this all player versus player? There's no NPCs at all, or is that how it works?
I have only played online multiplayer matches. I don't know if there is an offline bots mode. I'm not sure about that, but it's the online battles are, your 64 player, 32 v 32, red versus blue, and it's just a lot of fun, man. I can't encourage you enough to swing a sword sometime.
I might have to. What made you get into it? Or did you hear it from someone else that wanted to play it? Or
it was someone reached out and wanted it installed earlier in the year, and so we picked up a copy for the install, and so I just had it on the system. Thought it was time to check it out.
Nice.
Just because we've been playing so many online multiplayer games, I'm like, I need to take another look at it, see it from another angle.
Nice. What are you playing on Xbox or PS5?
That's Xbox Series X you're seeing there, and it runs beautifully.
Nice.
It's silky smooth.
Is it Game Pass?
No, it's not Game Pass. It would be a phenomenal Game Pass edition, though, man. If you had a huge influx of players, because this also suffers the long time between rounds to get players problem.
Gotcha.
It's not too bad. It's not game breaking, but it would be nice if those rounds were quicker. But
well, I'll check it out. If it's cheap enough, I might have to give it a go and jump in there with you. We can maybe do a stream or something.
Oh yeah, that game is phenomenal. A lot of fun. And then finally for my week, the last one I've been playing is more Diablo's Immortal on the phone, and I've been playing it with my son. So the footage you'll see tonight is my son and I doing two different raids in Diablo Immortal on the phone. And this game, I'm going to say, if you got into World of Warcraft back in the day, this feels like that old Blizzard magic. I'm talking vanilla World of Warcraft magic. There's the leveling, the progression, but it's got all the nice UI elements that you could use as add-ons for World of Warcraft back in the day, but they've actually just natively baked them into the UI now. So it's the almost best version of World of Warcraft, but it's a Diablo game. But it's got that whole online MMO feel to it, and it's on your phone, and it looks fantastic. It plays brilliantly. I can't sing its praises enough. If you at all like these type of games, definitely get into this game. I've put way too many hours into it already. Steve, don't ask.
No, that's all right. Did you know if it's got controller support with it at all? Can you attach a controller?
Does. Yeah, you can have the Xbox Series X controller works with it, for example. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
It just natively, all the attacks on the right just turn into the face buttons, A, B, X, Y.
Nice. And are you playing with controller, or are you just playing with face buttons?
Just tapping away on the phone. It's
just tapping away.
Just tapping away. Such a good game. Like, if you play phone games at all, definitely play this. But this, to me, and it kind of ties back into the xCloud stuff we're talking about, it's getting to the point where I reckon this might be the last great phone game we see. It's just all going to move to like xCloud console games, running well on a phone. I reckon this is probably going to be your last native build, great big budget game on phones. I can't see people going after this again, but this is the best implementation of it ever. If you enjoy these games, seriously get into it.
Is it free to play? It's still free to play, isn't it?
Free to play. There's, in-app purchases, there's a battle pass, all that sort of stuff.
I was going to ask, are they egregious? Do they throw them down your throat being a free to play game like most games?
No, but it's the beta, and I've seen this happen before, man. You play the beta and it's all good. Like, it's minimal, like, once every 3 days you get some really subtle message about buying something in the store, but then it goes live, it comes out of beta, and then it's every 3 screens. Nag.
Yep.
So right now, it's the perfect game. Play it now. When it comes out and they're cramming microtransactions down your throat, it probably won't be anywhere near as enjoyable. And I have leveled up so quickly in this. I'm sure when they start charging people, that the XP grind will start to be a problem. But right now, it's perfectly balanced.
It'll come to a Halo halt.
Yeah, exactly. A Halo halt. So that's it for the game notes this week. What's next, Steve? What happens next? I think I
believe it's standoff.
The standoff? Do I have a button? There's a standoff button. There it is.
Who will fight?
Standoff. Oh, and then I've got to hit one more button. Oh, no, not that one. That one. There it is. Oh, my goodness. Working beautifully. Okay, this week's standoff is Halo levels. Steve, over to you, my friend.
Now, before we start this standoff, we're going to talk quickly about and give a winner to last week's standoff, which we forgot to do. Great
call, Steve. Well remembered. I'm glad you remembered, mate.
So last week's standoff was best of our favourite level in Returnal, a biome we want to call it. Yeah. So we've come to a genuine consensus. We do have a winner. It was mainly Troy brought me around to this one after a bit of deliberation, but we're going to give it to Biome 3 for last week.
Biome 3, the giant one.
The giant one, the pain in the ass one that nearly made me quit the game, but because it almost made me quit the game, the sense of defeating that level and getting into my favourite level, let's call it my favourite level or favourite experience as part of that game, because it turned me into a hashtag real gamer.
Yes, it did. And special note to Biome 6, you are awesome, but unfortunately, due to my fear of drowning, it can't win. An underwater level cannot win. I won't allow it.
It can't, but as far as water levels go, that is one of the best I've ever played.
Hands down, the best water level I've ever played.
All right, on to today's standoff.
So, first up, we have Halo Combat Evolved. The level itself is Halo.
That's right. Do you remember this level? Do you know which one we're talking about?
It's the very first one with the skull that's you spawn. It's like over the bridge and then up to the right.
That's right. So you've been on the I think it was the Pillar of Autumn at the start of that game where you're trying to escape, and then then you sort of subverts expectations. You're thinking you're playing a linear shooter game, and then all of a sudden Halo opens up, and you're like, oh my god, this is the best game I've ever played.
Yes, absolutely. The big reveal moment. It was something.
Big reveal. You're out there, like playing it back now. You're like, obviously, you've got sort of the newer versions of the game that make it look much prettier. But if you go back and play the old game, it does actually look quite barren and just some textures for grass and a few trees here and there. But back in the day when you played this for the first time, it was the biggest world you've ever seen, and being able to sort of drive around in cars and go to different points on the map, and you find Marines fighting. It just felt like you're a real life Marine, just an absolute badass. So
a real living world, mate. It was great.
It was, but on to number 2 in the standoff. This is also part of the same game, which doubled up as probably one of the most iconic levels ever in any of the Halos.
Oh, yes.
The Silent Cartographer.
Bum, 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 bum.
Now, I don't know about you, Troy, but I have probably played this level more than any other level in any game.
Now, there was one that I had to replay for an achievement early on. That would be my most played level, and I can't even remember what the achievement was. I just remember there was one I had to grind out for an achievement. It may have been this one.
No, this is the one you land on the beach, you come flying in on the pelicans, they drop you down, you've got a leap on the beach, and you've got different ways you can go, and you end up inside a facility, and there's an elite there, and the first time you think you see an elite with a sword, and you're like, oh, God, who's this guy?
Yeah.
You see him behind a window, and he's all scary, but then you got to escape, and then you got to fight him, and then, this level is just absolute Halo perfection. And from what I hear, they're calling the people that have sat down and played some of the campaign and had campaign impressions of Halo Infinite are calling Halo Infinite the Silent Cartographer the game, which makes me very happy.
That is exciting, man. Oh, and sorry, just a quick note on you mentioned before about the different look on the textures. Just a quick note that in the Master Chief Collection, I think it's the select button you can press, and it'll switch between the old visuals and the new visuals if you're interested in that sort of thing.
What a great little addition.
Brilliant. I absolutely love it. Sorry. So number 3, are we up to, Steve?
Number 3, yes, in the standoff was the
Long Night of Solace.
Long Night of Solace. Do you remember this level, Troy?
Oh, yes.
Now, this is one of my favorite levels, mainly for the fact that, I love Halo Reach, but they've never really done we're on the world and now we're in space kind of level.
Is it the reverse of getting to space in No Man's Sky?
Yes, it's probably more fun. But just again, you're storming a beach, a very pretty beach, and it's like set obviously in that picture you can see there. It's very moody and cloudy, yes. And it's just like really nice aesthetic for a level, and it's all sort of doom and gloom. And you fight your way up inside, to get to an aircraft, and then you blast your way into space. You have some space combat, which everyone's sort of been craving and stuff in Halo for years. I'd love to see the day where you can play Halo multiplayer and get into ships and fly into space and have space battles at the same time. I'm not sure we're there just yet.
It'll be just around the corner, mate.
I hope so.
Halo Infinite 2. Or is it Halo 2 Infinite?
I don't know. They'll just make it probably Halo Infinite Square.
It's the Master Chief again. You guys know what's happening.
That's right. You know what we're talking about. But no, what a good level in Reach that was. I've definitely played that level more than once.
It sounds like a Bond level. That's the best thing about it.
It does. It's very, was it Moonraker where he goes to space? What a stupid movie that was.
Indeed. All right, number 4 for this week's standoff is The Storm from Halo 3.
The Storm, this is part of Halo 3, and I think it's the first time you ever fight a Scarab.
Oh, is it?
I think it's the first time you ever fight those. They're the big 4-legged, gigantic things, aren't they?
Yeah, and I'm just scrolling down the page here. I know you're on a 45-second delay. I'm just scrolling down and trying to see if there's a picture of one.
I believe you see them in Halo 2, and I reckon you fight and jump on one from a bridge in Halo 2 and fight some enemies, but you don't actually take one down until the start of Halo 3, which is this one where you come into the big opening and then you hear it come over the top, and then all of a sudden you got to take this thing down. And I remember playing Halo 3 for the first time, and when that thing exploded and the noise that it made, I was in absolute awe.
That was if I remember correctly, that one really triggered the subwoofer. I think that was the time my neighbours got real upset with my surround sound.
Oh, it's potentially because it does that whole like it builds and then just goes, and it's just like insane. It's not the first time you'll take one down in Halo. It's not the only time you'll take one down in Halo 3, but definitely the first time is definitely a memorable moment for me for Halo.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. I loved it. All right, number 5 is The Covenant.
The Covenant. Does this one have you gone and do you remember this one?
Oh yes. The Covenant.
The Covenant. This one is indeed another beach sort of landing. This level had everything. This was you start on foot, then you get into. I think the Pelicans come and drop in some warthogs, and you can get a ghost, and you go up around a mountain. You got vehicles you've got to take out. And you end up inside a facility, and you're going after. Was it No Regrets? His name isn't it or something?
That does sound right.
That alien-looking thing, and just the story beats at the end of that level as well, where they say Cortana's still alive, and you got to go fetch her from the moor or whatever it is. I think this is the quintessential Halo level. It has the open world areas. It harkens back to a little bit of the Silent Cartographer stuff.
Yes. Yep.
Has some of the best sort of vehicle combat in it, the best story beats. I think if you need to put a perfect Halo level together, this one's probably it.
Nice, man. Nice. I love it. And then our 6th one. Now, this is my personal favorite, Steve, and I'll hear nothing bad said about it.
Which one is it, Troy?
It's the library, Steve. The library from Halo Combat Evolved. Everyone's favorite 7th level.
I should say it's my favorite level in a game to hate the absolute hell out of it.
You are not alone on that one. You are not alone on that one, Steve.
What a terrible, terrible, terrible level in a video game.
It's
Troy,
where the
can you tell
flood
me?
really got to me.
Can you tell me your experience with the library?
Oh, it's infuriating. I think the library was where I really wanted a better UI system. If I remember correctly, I got turned around inside out inside that library for about 20 minutes at one point. I could not find my way.
Is that because it all looks the bloody same the whole way through it?
That's exactly right. That may be the level where I developed my method of always just following the left wall. Just stick to the left wall and just keep going until you find the exit.
Yes. And I feel like there was a sort of Halo. If you play the first Halo, like you notice a lot of the good stuff's in the front end of that game. And then towards the end, it kind of just doesn't, it's not as good at all.
Yeah. Far Cry 6 did the exact same stunt this year.
Oh, okay, good. I look forward to finishing that game now. But so yeah, that's obviously in there as a joke. So that's obviously not going to get the win. It gets the win as the worst. So you always got two standoffs here because that gets the win for the worst Halo level ever created.
We have the defeated headless corpse, I think.
That's right. But Troy, if you had to give it a win, which one are you sort of leaning towards as your favourite Halo level?
For me, it's got to be Long Night of Solace. Surely the Long Night of Solace.
You're going Long Night of Solace.
In honour of Bond, if nothing else.
Yeah, no, very true, very true. And Moonraker himself.
Yourself, Steve, where's your heart lying?
I'm torn between nostalgia with the Silent Cartographer and the Covenant from Halo 3 being just that perfect balance of everything Halo.
Yeah, you're right. The one thing I'll note about the Covenant, it does, when you play it does very much call back to the Halo level from the original Halo game that you spoke so highly of as the first entrant in this week's standoff. So I think you're right, man. It is probably the masterpiece, the one they worked up to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Covenant.
You've swung me, Steve. The winner this week, the Covenant from Standoff.
Beautiful. Closely behind is the library. Number 2.
Perfect. Okay, now with the standoff out of the way, Steve, is there any other business we need to take care of before the news?
Mate, let me just check the chat. I'll see who's in there. We'll say g'day to a few people if they're in there. We've got Sean Games in there.
Oh, hi, Sean. How you doing, buddy? Welcome back, sir.
We've got JT Gamer in the chat.
JT Gamer, what's happening?
And we've got a few questions and stuff in there, but we'll leave that till the end and we'll answer your questions then.
Beautiful. I love it. Keep them coming, guys. Now, here we go into the news. Another button? No, I don't. Look at that. Perfect. All right. Halo Infinite Battle Pass and XP progression patch is out now, and bigger changes are coming later. Steve, we mentioned it earlier, but I'm not sure that the small amount of changes, to my knowledge, mate, the only thing they've actually done is changed what you were talking about earlier, that 50 points for the win? Is that the only real change they made?
I think so. There's probably more if I delve into it. There's probably a bit more, but I think it's something to do with the boost that you can buy that lasts for an hour now instead of 30 minutes for extra XP.
Oh, that's true. They made that change, but a lot of their announcements sounded good. But when you read into it, it's, we're going to address it in season 2. So it's not until, April next year that we'll actually see these changes they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we still might see the fact the game's not out yet and in beta. I think they'll take a lot of this feedback, to heart. And I think the fact they've managed to implement that 50 XP for just playing a game so quickly.
Yeah,
I think you will potentially see more stuff come in, especially if they want to, keep their player base happy, especially as there's a news story coming up later. They probably want to keep some goodwill as well for this period. So, and with other games, obviously like Call of Duty and Battlefield out, which do have a sort of a better progression system, even though they might not be as good at games. It's opinion based only. But
Battlefield's got a much better progression system, but they don't tell anyone about it. You've got to know it's there to go and dig into find it. It's so bizarre. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so it's because mistakes were made on both parts.
Definitely, 100%.
Let's hope they can both listen to feedback and get out to it. But I was just very happy that Halo listened already, and there is some kind of progression that isn't just solely based on those challenges they give you. So, happy 343's listening. Let's hope they continue to do so.
Oh, and Halo Infinite, I think, is definitely going to be the winner from the big sort of multiplayer games that we've seen this year. Would you agree, Steve?
Without a doubt. Without an absolute doubt.
So, a small change. They're going to do more later, but still, it's in a great spot, and you should definitely play Halo Infinite. It's a phenomenal game. Phenomenal game. I'm worried our coverage might suggest we're not loving it. All right, story 2. The Game Awards 2021 nominations, were announced. And Steve, there's a couple of errors I've noticed.
Yeah, there's a glaring omission in the Game of the Year category as far as I'm concerned. Let me just read you the...
Well, it's not... I think there's a misspelling, I think, is the only thing that's occurred.
A misspelling? Can you tell me about this misspelling, Troy?
Well, instead of writing Returnal correctly, they spelt it DEATHLOOP. So just a minor misspelling, but obviously Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, It Takes Two. They are some great games and well nominated.
They are. Yeah, no, we're poking fun at it, but yes, unfortunately, we see Deathloop in the Game of the Year nominees.
Do you mean nag loop?
Yeah, I do mean that, and I don't know why it's there instead of Return. In fact, I don't know why Returnal's not there at all, to be honest.
This list is clearly faulty.
So you've got Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. All very good games.
Yes.
But the fact that Returnal's not in there, I mean, it is nominated under Best Directed Game, which is a weird thing because Best Direction normally would mean the game is usually the best game.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah. It's that weird category, and you see pretty much every game that's in the Best Game Direction is exactly the same that's in Game of the Year, except for Returnal. So
correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but I feel like Best Game Direction, the only reason that category exists is for the years that Hideo Kojima puts out a game and they can't give it Game of the Year.
Yeah, because it never will win Game of the Year, but it will win Best Game Direction.
Yeah, so instead of Best Game Direction, we should call it the Hideo Kojima Award.
We should. So, I mean, you'll see a lot of those games that are up for, best game have got, best narrative. You'll find a lot of the same ones. They're good to see Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy get a nod for that category.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, 100%. Well deserved. So well written, that one.
Now, Best Art Direction, I'll read you these ones. You give me your winner off the bat. I've got Deathloop, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and The Artful Escape. It's
got to be Kena Bridge of Spirits, surely.
Surely that's got to get a win. That game is beautiful. I don't think I mentioned that I finished it on stream last week.
No, you haven't. Congratulations, Steve. Well played. Are you going for the platinum?
No, I'm not. There's too many other things to play at the moment. I'll probably reinstall at some point. I had to get stuff off my console because, as I've said, I've reinstalled Cyberpunk. I needed that 100 gig.
Yeah.
To play that. So I just finished Kena, so that's unfortunately off my console. But what a game that was. The ending was beautiful. I can't say too many nice things.
I'm definitely going to have to finish it before the year's out and we have those discussions, Steve.
Absolutely, it's going to be in those discussions.
Oh, yes. And anything else? Any of note? Best score, music, audio design, best performance?
Nothing in there. Is that best performance by an actor in a game? Or?
Yeah, well, yes. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I was hoping for some Guardians of the Galaxy love there, to be honest, because I thought that
was
brilliantly done.
Absolutely. What have you got? You've got the two from Deathloop, Maggie Robinson from Resident Evil Village, Giancarlo Esposito, Far Cry 6.
Maggie Robinson, Resident Evil Village. Is that the giant 9-foot woman?
It must be. I'm not going to probably have to fact check that, but I don't know who that is. But good on it. She's got a nomination. I did enjoy Life is Strange, though, the new one. So she was quite good in that role.
That was good, yeah.
She was very good. But just scrolling down.
Here we go, Steve. I've got one for you. What's your winner in this category? Best indie game. Your options are 12 Minutes, Death's Door, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, Inscription, and Loop Hero.
Well, I've played 3 of those games, and the fact that Kena is actually an indie game is mind-blowing for the fact that of how polished it is. So I could see it going to that, but Death's Door as well, such a good game. I can't speak more highly of Death's Door. I'll speak about it later.
Is that Game Pass?
No, I don't believe it is Game Pass.
Okay, very good.
But we've got another thing come up later. I'll touch on Death's Door a little bit more. But I can't see Kena Bridge of Spirits losing it just based on the fact that it pretty much does come across as, a first-party studio
It does. It's phenomenal. Do you not think they'll want to give 12 Minutes a win somewhere, though?
I don't. Maybe just given the fact of who's in it, and it's
think for the mainstream media headlines of William Dafoe winning something, like a game with William Dafoe in it will resonate. I think that would be why they'd want to give it to it.
Yeah, maybe that could be some other game show. Maybe not the Game Awards giving it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Oh, no, I've found a travesty, Steve. Best mobile game, and
there's no Diablo.
There's no Diablo in that list. You've missed it, guys. You've missed it like Returnal.
It's the cutoff, although that doesn't explain Returnal being cut off. But
best VR AR, Steve. We've got Hitman 3, I Expect You to Die 2, Lone Echo 2, Resident Evil 4, Sniper Elite VR. Now, have you played any of those in VR, Steve?
I have played Resident Evil 4 and Sniper Elite VR, and if I have to, I know about these other ones, but I'm going to probably have to give it to Resident Evil 4, as I've talked about. I think it was a few episodes ago, and that game in VR is just incredible. I don't see it losing somehow.
Fair enough, man. Have you seen any of the Hitman 3 stuff? Like, I understand you haven't gone hands-on with it, but did you see the implementation anywhere?
I didn't know. I heard it wasn't great, though, from all accounts.
It's not great in that the actual Hitman 3 running on a PlayStation 5 looks so good, plays so well, is so seamless. Like, the jank of VR really stands out in that context. But to actually put the VR headset on and be in the Hitman 3 levels, that is phenomenal and a real experience. Like, I think that's what you really remember, you know.
Oh, that'd be great. That's why I'm still looking forward to that San Andreas. San Andreas VR compatibility thing, because I think that'll be cool as well.
Definitely.
Now, just quickly, best action game. There's your little Chivalry 2 is listed under best action game in one of the 5 options.
Chivalry 2? I'm looking at action adventure. That's why I'm not seeing it. I'm at the wrong one.
One up.
Stream. Oh, up. I've gone too far down. Oh, there it is right there. Yes, Chivalry 2, indeed. Look at that. That would...
So more or less fun than Back 4 Blood?
I would say more fun. It just felt more unique. You know, Back 4 Blood, it's just a lot of gunplay. There's a lot of games doing a lot of gunplay this year. But Chivalry 2, like, I don't know of any other phenomenal sword-wielding games that came out this year. It's
although it's hard, it's going to be hard to beat Returnal, though, in that genre, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we can go past Returnal, although when it wins Game of the Year, they could, free up this category for someone else.
That's right. Now, this is interesting to see Best RPG, Cyberpunk. Did that miss the Game Awards last year for when it released? Because it released late in the year, didn't it? It was late November.
Well, I actually think, did it end up coming out December 7th? Or something.
Oh, possibly. No, I think it might have been December. You might be right.
December 7th jumped out at my head, so I don't know why.
So to see it actually make a category in this, when it could potentially, if it was as good as it was supposed to be initially, when everyone was sort of touting it as a game of the year, this would be the year it could win it. But it's obviously it's only made one category.
It's very odd to see it in this list at all. It does feel like it's too old to be mentioned. And then it was so broken. How can you put it in best RPG category when it was so buggy? Like, surely that means it can't win.
No, that's right. I'm just going to go back up one with the best action adventure game. I really hope Marvel's Guardians gets that.
Oh, yeah, I hope Marvel wins a lot of awards. Pretty much anything it's nominated for, I hope Marvel's wins. That game really holds a special place.
Damn straight. And the other one I hope that gets a few awards is It Takes Two.
Oh, yes, I was about to say, man, best family game, It Takes Two, Mario Party Superstars, new Pokemon Snap, Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, and WarioWare. So best family game for me, yes, It Takes Two, definitely.
I could almost see It Takes Two taking out Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
Oh, that'd be controversial. Although he got on really well with him, didn't he? Because he went a bit crazy. That was his big splash. I can't remember the bloke's name now. But the guy who leads all those games, the director. What is his name?
Yeah. Oh, what is his name?
It's very French and it's escaping me. I apologize. And I'm not seeing anything else in this list, mate. So let's move on to the third news story, which is Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, gets its first major update.
Well, suppose it's Andy Tennant is the director of those games.
Andy Tennant. Good work, Steve. Thank you very much.
That's right. On to the next news article. What have we got?
Yeah, sorry, mate. Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, getting an update, and now the rain's fixed in San Andreas.
Oh, well, I think last week I actually said the rain in San Andreas was better than the other two, but everyone seems to be a different opinion. I must have had a different sort of rain effect in mind, but it's good to see that the trilogy is definitely getting some updates. It's still they probably need some work on the frame rates and stuff,
yes.
but the fact that they've rolled this out very quickly, and I think they've given people a free copy of the old versions of games on PC or something as well, as goodwill.
Yeah, they're trying to fix it, so good on them.
Yeah, have you played much more of the G.E.A. trilogy?
Just San Andreas, man. I'm just going through and playing the main missions in San Andreas on the PS5 and loving every minute of it. I enjoy it so much. And I've had that experience. It wasn't a cop car for me, but I had never experienced it before in San Andreas, that absolute out of nowhere T-boning of my car and being launched off the road that I was driving down. I don't know what bug is going on in their coding, but I've never seen that behavior before in game. But it's hilarious. When it happens to you, it's so unexpected and it's such a large impact on how far your car moves. It's crazy.
It is. I don't know whether it's got something to do with the 60 frames per second and stuff having to, buffer in quicker or something because you're driving faster and it's just appearing. I've got no idea, but it's pretty
hilarious,
jarring when it happens.
It is very funny, but I'm really enjoying it. And yes, the patch fixed the rain, which was nice. That was a nice fix. And a few other bugs it fixed, but nothing had been negatively impacting me. So it was nothing really big.
Nice. Oh, let's hope they continue to fix it up, and let's hope they've got some 3 very playable games, and everyone can enjoy them.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to enjoy San Andreas. I think I'll play through and finish it. My hope is that by the time I finish it, they've either fully brought up Vice City or 3 to the sort of same standard, and then I can enjoy those. Because as I understand it, they're of subpar compared to San Andreas.
Well, I think I actually reckon Vice City is probably the best optimized out of a lot of them.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it.
Yeah. So anyway,
beautiful. Anyway, so we will get to those, but they've been patched. If you're waiting for a patch, maybe now you want to check it out. News story number 4, Saints Row delayed until August next year. I think it needs to be delayed until August 2024 if they want to have a crack at this one properly.
Mm-hmm. I saw the writing. No, the fact they even announced it was coming out February initially, I was very surprised by.
We called that out of the gate, mate. As soon as they announced that date, we both suggested that was a work of fiction.
Yeah, and what's weird is they've actually announced, they announced an actual date, August 23, which I find very strange to announce an actual date when you've already delayed the game once.
Yeah, I don't know, but I wonder if maybe they were legally obliged to put a date down somewhere. It does seem odd to pin a date out that far out.
Yeah, and February was never going to work for them anyway with all the other games. Elden Ring comes out in February, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Or 25th of January. 25th of
January.
Yeah, but yeah, Elden Ring will definitely be my February. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, so the writing was on the wall with Saints Row. I think they need to. I wouldn't say they need to get this game right, but it's not like everyone was clamoring for a brand new Saints Row game.
No, I think they could just quietly retire this one.
Yeah, but it'll probably fill the void for everyone waiting for a brand new Grand Theft Auto as well. That's probably where they're going to sit, and they need to get out well before, But the problem I think they're going to have is I think you're going to see the Grand Theft Auto 5 next-gen console updates come out before that, and people will probably prefer to play that game.
Yes, 100%, 100%, man. It's who wouldn't go back to? I know I would certainly play Grand Theft Auto 5 again over that very Fortnite-looking Saints Row reboot.
That's right. Well, who knows? I mean, a year off or an extra year for Halo has obviously done it wonders. So let's see if Saints Row can have the same,
and
impact for their game.
Came out pretty well. That had the extra year.
That's true. That had extra year. Yeah, that's true. So I mean, these things can be good. We'll see. We'll see.
Hopefully. Then the 5th news story, Xbox making another 76 games backwards compatible. Obviously, Max Payne 3 we already touched on. That was the icing on the cake for me. But good to see them adding more games, Steve.
Oh, my God. They've also said this is the last time they're going to add any more games to the backwards compatibility. So that's a little bit sad, even though they did give us, 70-odd more. There was only one more game that I really want, and it's probably just me asking for it. But it was more so evident after going to see James Bond. I really was someone who really enjoyed the James Bond Bloodstone game that came out.
Was that EA, excuse me?
I think it was. Yeah, it was the third person. Like it's pretty much just Uncharted with James Bond and stuff with Daniel Craig's likeness. But I really, and it had the shooting mechanics out of Splinter Cell where you could like mark targets and take them out quickly. It was just a really enjoyable game, and I've been really wanting to play it again. But
that was a good game, man. I remember that one. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I loved it. So,
sorry, mate. Please.
You go. You go.
Oh, for me, I really want to get the rock bands. I know they're not going to do it, but for me, if we could have got the rock bands, the DJ heroes, the guitar heroes in, I've still got all those instruments around here. I would love it if the Xbox Series X could play them all.
Oh, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? But I mean, on top of the...
Sorry, mate. Sorry, go.
I was going to say, on top of the 72 games, we also got new FPS Booster Games as well.
Yes.
I don't know if you've managed to check any of these out yet.
No, I haven't had a chance.
So for me, this is a big one. Dead Space 2 received the FPS boost.
Boom. Now, why do you think they didn't do Dead Space 1?
Well, I don't know. Maybe because there's a remaster coming out very soon.
You mean they're about to charge us for it and didn't want to give it away for free? Crazy.
I think that's probably close to it. I mean, they're going to probably do a lot more to that remaster, but I think that's got something to do with it. They did FPS boost Dead Space 2 and 3, so...
Yeah, it's a glaring omission.
But along with Max Payne 3, Dead Space 2 is one of my favourite third-person shooters back in the day. And to see that game get a little bit of a glow-up is very happy for me. So that was reinstalled very quickly with the FPS boost to have a crack at.
Yeah, a nice one. Is there any other crazy good ones here? I'm just quickly looking down the list. Resident Evil Raccoon City. I don't even remember that one. Where did that sit in the...
Operation Raccoon City. Was that a multiplayer?
No idea.
Something or other. Red Dead Revolver, the original Red Dead's on there now.
Oh, I love that one. Oh, look, they've done back all the original Gears of War. Look at that.
They have, yeah. So FPS boost to Gears 2, Gears 3, Gears Judgment. So that's good to see them as well.
FPS boost on the cloud gaming. I didn't even realize they were a separate list. I assumed if you got it in one place, you've got it in
Yes.
Oh, wow, they got steep.
Yes.
Surprising.
I know. So there's a lot of good games. Xbox is going from strength to strength. They just seem to be doing just more and more stuff.
They are just changing their value proposition, but it doesn't seem to be helping them in the numbers games. I think PlayStation's still outselling them 3-1 at the minute, aren't they?
I think they are, but I mean, it's still weird. Every time someone asks me which one should I get, I'm still leaning towards pointing them towards an Xbox just because of the value for money.
Yes, absolutely. If anyone asks me, always Game Pass, get an Xbox, get on that Game Pass.
Well, just look at it. All these backwards compatible games, they've got Game Pass. They've got FPS boost to your older games and making these old games look, awesome again. They've got games like Forza Horizon 5 coming out and absolutely dominating. Halo multiplayer comes out, it's free, drops 4 weeks early, and it's better than any other multiplayer out at the moment. The campaigns, going into early, into streamers and, influencers' hands right now, and they're all talking very positively about this campaign after 4 missions. I think they know they've got a winner on their hands when they're putting these previews out, 5 weeks in advance. No one does it. If a game's, not going to be any good, we're not getting a review or any kind of coverage on it, G.E.A. Trilogy, until the day of its actual launch. So I think we're going to have, Microsoft's just going from strength to strength.
Yeah, good on them. I love it. It's an exciting challenge for them, but I hope they can get it there. What do you reckon, man? Honestly, by the end of the season, by the end of the generation, I should say, are they going to have reversed course? Do you think Xbox will be back on top, in 6-7 years?
I reckon we're going to be seeing, because PlayStation's still running their same race as far as I'm concerned. They're not running a different race, whereas Microsoft sort of pivoted hard and going real hard on really sort of being for the gamers at the moment. So I could see them easily taking over. They've got essentially the more powerful consoles, what they call it at the moment. Who knows? We'll see how long that sort of, whether the new stuff they're building for that console, the new games that come out can actually take, or use that hardware to its full potential. Because at the moment, I still think we've only scratched the surface about what these consoles can actually do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's like I was saying before with seeing Battlefield 2042 running on the PS5, to see it's noticeable the platform they designed it for. So if Xbox can turn the tables and get people to develop for the Xbox Series X as the lead platform, we could see some really cool stuff.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm very excited to see where the future holds both these consoles. They've both now been out for a year, haven't they?
Yeah, yes. officially out for a year, both of them. How exciting.
Yeah. Oh, this year's gone quick to think that, we only just got these consoles. And I remember thinking when Halo got delayed, I'm like, oh my God, a year, that's forever till I get to play Halo. And we're just on the cusp of it now. So the fact that we've had a year with these things and, we're starting to see some really good stuff come out for it. I just can't wait to see even next year is going to be a huge year for games, I think.
Yeah, next year should be Elden Ring. I can't even think past Elden Ring. Just give it to me now. God, I wish I
Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Forbidden West. We've got some big ones coming.
There is no way God of War comes out next year.
I'm calling it. It'll be out next year.
No, not going to happen. 2024. See you then. All right. Story number, quick maths, 5, I think. Halo
6?
Infinite. 6, sure. The Verge, Halo Infinite's campaign co-op isn't coming until May next year at the earliest, Steve.
And this is what I said earlier when I said we'd come back to, Halo 343 wanting goodwill with their customers and their player base in terms of putting out a better battle pass progression, because they have just had to push back their co-op and forge modes to season 2, which was pushed back here. What does it say? Till May, was it?
Yes. Yep. May 2022. I thought there was an actual date, but there isn't. Just May.
Yeah. So I think they said the co-op campaign was always going to release with Season 2, and obviously with Season 2 being pushed back, they've obviously decided to do the same with co-op campaign. I mean, I'm happy to wait. It keeps the conversation going longer on Halo, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, definitely.
It'll stay in the conversation longer. People might be disappointed at launch not to have it, but if you've got a solid campaign, a solid multiplayer, which it seems like they've got both of those, I think that gets you to May quite easily, really.
Yeah, definitely. Has there been any word, any rumor why they're doing it the way they're doing it? From an outside total guess, it's like the co-op multiplayer campaign, like surely the only thing missing from that at this point is the QA on it, doing the quality testing on it. So do we think maybe that it's just all we're watching here is their QA team moving from the multiplayer component to the single player component to the co-op campaign component,
Yeah, potentially. I mean, if you scroll down a little bit, looking now, it says Halo Infinite's co-op campaign is playable now, which is what statement says, but the development team wants to take the extra time to make sure it's stable. So, I mean, I think it's, it's probably partly to do with COVID and all that kind of stuff and getting all that stuff, Q&A done and making sure it runs flawlessly. And I think they could do the whole we'll release it now, but the problem you've got then is that it's buggy, it doesn't work properly, and balancing enemies AI towards 2 players being in there and stuff like that. So it's probably a fair bit that needs to go under the hood for that before they release it. So I think they just want to make sure what they've done with the campaign and get it as polished as possible. They want to do the same with the co-op stuff as well, which is disappointing if that's the way you normally play Halo. I've always played the campaign by myself first before playing any kind of co-op, so it doesn't really bother me.
Do you think, Steve, that the inclusion of It Takes Two into Game Pass at the same time they delayed this was coincidence?
Or probably not.
Okay, we're holding off the co-op campaign to play this game instead. It's really good.
That's right. They could do that. I mean, it's completely different games, but I mean,
it's a co-op campaign.
It is a co-op campaign, and it's a very bloody good one at that.
Exactly.
And you do still get to shoot things in that game. So.
Yes. And there's a Street Fighter section. That game's phenomenal. Go back on the channel. Check out the playlist.
Go back and play that. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Go watch that. Go play that because you ain't playing Halo Co-op till May next year.
Indeed. But something else is happening this week, as we always like to do. The Game Informer, new releases coming out this week, website.
Oh, it's a big week, Troy. It's a big week.
It's a massive week. Now, Farming Simulator 22. Now, Steve, if I remember correctly, that was in our list last week. Did it get pushed back a week right at the end?
It possibly did, because I feel like last week it was also coming to all platforms.
Yes, I am sure this one got pushed a week. Who knows why, but, keep your eyes on it.
Death's Door. What a great game. I've got this on the Xbox. It's good to see it's, because I think it was obviously a timed exclusive on the Xbox.
Is it Game Pass on the Xbox?
I don't think it is. I'd have to check, but I'm pretty sure I paid hard-earned cash for it.
Game Informer have given it a 9 here. What would your score be on Death's Door?
Yeah, it's probably up there about a 9. I remember playing it thinking this is pretty much a Zelda, a Link's Awakening type game.
Yeah,
right. Combat's brutal. It's hard. It's fast. It's Soulsy in a way. Story's really good. The art style is really cool. The bosses are fun to fight, as frustrating as some of them can be, but they don't punish you too much. Like, it's very fast to get back in there. You don't have to, run too far to get to a boss if you get destroyed by one. So
yeah, good checkpoints.
It rewards just keep going. Yeah. So this was up there in sort of one of my favorite games of this year at the moment. So to see it come into PlayStation 5, I think it'd be quite a few happy gamers out there if you pick this one up.
Awesome, mate. I'll have to check it out. And then finally, the third and final one for the week is another one that got pushed back from last week, the Disney Classic Games Collection, coming to Xbox One and Switch on November 23rd.
Yeah, so it talks about that. They're very hard games. They're old games. Definitely won't be playing them anymore.
I have nostalgia for them. But that wraps up the news segment. Steve, that brings us to the audience integration segment. How are we looking there in the YouTube chat, mate?
Let's have a look. We've had Sean Games. So Sean Games asked earlier, I think he asked, what's that on your face? I think he's referring to your beard. Or facial hair.
Yeah, well, maybe a shave would have been good. Can't rush these things.
Sean also says, I like the new Halo multiplayer being free to play. Yes, don't we all?
Yes.
That being said, I would definitely pay money for it. Is that good?
Yeah, it is good. It is the cream of the crop. Did you buy the Battle Pass, Steve?
I did.
I did. Pay for the multiplayer then, mate. You're a man.
Yeah, that's true. And I may have also purchased one of the skins for one of the one of my armor sets because it looks really cool. So I'm just an absolute,
I think the word you're
I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker. Yeah, that's the word. I am. I'm just a sucker. Take my money, 343. I don't care.
Throw it at the screen.
And Sean Games also says, Steve, after seeing No Time to Die last week, my dad brought me the James Bond Blu-ray box set, and he's been binging all the movies, and he's on Moonraker now. I'm sorry to hear that.
Moonraker is your favorite Bond, isn't it, Steve?
Oh, it's my favourite. Yep, it's up there with the library as a favourite Halo level.
Perfect.
But no.
That's going to do it for this week, guys. Thank you very much for watching the Gaming Enforcement Agency. We'll be right back here next Monday, 8 p.m.-ish on Geek Loud. Like it, subscribe it. You'll never miss it. Oh, that was luck. Hey, that's not it. I love everything about it. Ooh. Old Uncle Donkey.
Donkey.